Welcome back to the final chapter of our massive journey. Today we witness the absolute end of this incredible giant. The once towering king of the ocean is now nothing more than a flat steel bottom resting on the sand. This final episode serves as the ultimate summary of our entire series, showcasing the sheer power of human engineering today. I am stepping back into the cabin of my familiar excavator to finish the monumental task we started months ago. My mission today is incredibly special. I must carefully locate and lift the very last piece of this colossal structure. That specific piece holds the original identification number of the ship, carrying the history and legacy of its ocean voyages. We will throw this historic metal fragment directly into our massive mobile blast furnace waiting right here on the beach. When that heavy steel melts away, the long demolition journey of 20 mega ships will officially come to a close. Looking around this vast coastline, you can see a completely clean beach where massive metal mountains used to stand proudly. Millions of tons of scrapped steel have been successfully recovered, ready to be reborn into brand new structures and machines. This entire operation has been a remarkable story about human strength, determination, and our ability to dismantle the impossible giants. Let us take a moment to look back at the incredible scale of the icon of the seas before demolition. It was a floating city that dominated the waves, bringing joy to thousands of passengers across the beautiful blue oceans. But every glorious journey eventually reaches its final destination, and this massive vessel was brought to our specialized dismantling yard. The deconstruction process required extreme precision, heavy machinery, and an incredibly working tirelessly through harsh weather conditions daily. We started from the very top, tearing down the luxurious cabins, giant water slides, and those magnificent upper entertainment decks. Huge hydraulic shears sliced through thick steel plates like scissors, cutting through simple paper, dropping massive chunks to the ground. Sparks flew everywhere as our skilled workers used powerful cutting torches to separate the complex internal framework of the ship. Day by day, the towering silhouette of the vessel slowly disappeared from the horizon, leaving behind only the lowest sections. We carefully removed the massive engines, which once generated enough incredible power to move this floating island across the globe. The heavy propellers, made of solid bronze, were carefully detached and lifted away by our strongest industrial crane last week. Now, only the very bottom hull remains buried slightly in the wet sand, waiting for its final moment of destruction. I power up the heavy excavator, feeling the familiar deep rumble of the massive diesel engine vibrating through the cabin. The metal tracks grind against the sandy beams as I slowly move the machine closer to the remaining steel plate. The hydraulic arm extends forward, armed with a powerful steel claw, designed to grip and tear through the toughest materials. I carefully position the heavy claw over the exact spot where the ship identification number is permanently engraved in metal. This specific number plate is the true soul of the vessel, marking its unique identity in the global maritime registry. With a gentle push of the joystick, the steel teeth bite down hard into the thick, rusty metal hull plate. The machine groans under the immense pressure as it tries to break the strong welds that have held for years. A loud screeching noise echoes across the empty beach as the thick steel plate finally begins to tear and bend. I increase the hydraulic power, forcing the heavy claw to rip the historic number plate completely away from the bottom. The massive piece of jagged metal is lifted high into the bright morning sky, dripping with wet sand and seawater. I swing the long excavator arm around, carrying this final important prize toward the glowing red mobile blast furnace nearby. The intense heat radiating from the furnace is absolutely incredible, distorting the air around it like a desert heat wave. Inside that glowing chamber, temperatures reach thousands of degrees, capable of melting the strongest maritime steel in just a moment. I carefully align the heavy metal plate over the open top of the furnace, preparing to let it go. With one final look at the engraved numbers, I open the hydraulic claw and watch the heavy steel drop down. The metal plate crashes into the molten pool below, sending a spectacular shower of bright orange sparks into the air. Within seconds, the solid steel begins to soften, losing its shape and melting into the glowing river of liquid metal. The identity of the mighty icon of the seas has officially been erased forever from the physical world right now. But this is not truly the end of the line for this high-quality steel. It is a beautiful rebirth. This liquid metal will be poured into molds, cooled down, and formed into brand new construction beams for future buildings. Parts of this grand ship might soon become the structural foundation of a towering skyscraper in a bustling modern city. Or perhaps it will be transformed into the strong chassis of a new electric vehicle driving on a distant highway. The cycle of industrial life continues endlessly, turning all discarded giants into essential modern infrastructure through our hard, dangerous work. As the last piece melts away, I shut down the excavator engine and step out of the cabin to look. The sudden silence on the beach is almost deafening after months of continuous grinding, cutting, and heavy machinery operating here. The golden sand stretches out cleanly before me, showing no signs of the massive ship graveyard that once existed here. We have successfully dismantled 20 of the largest vessels ever built by humanity, leaving the natural environment completely spotless again. It took an army of dedicated workers, thousands of hours, and absolute precision to achieve this monumental environmental cleanup task. We faced dangerous storms, extreme heat, and complex engineering challenges, but our team never gave up on this massive project. Every single drop of oil, every piece of plastic, and every scrap of metal was carefully sorted and properly recycled. Looking at the clean waves gently washing over the empty beach, I feel a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. We did not just destroy things, we safely dismantled potential environmental hazards and recovered valuable resources for the global economy. The story of the icon of the seas may be over, but its materials will live on in new forms. Let us take a quick journey back through the highlights of this incredible 20-episode series about mega ship demolition. Remember the massive oil tanker we tackled in episode 3, with its incredibly thick double hull and dangerous toxic fumes? Our team had to wear specialized hazardous material suits just to safely access the lowest compartments of that dark vessel. Then there was the giant military aircraft carrier in episode 8, heavily armored and built to withstand massive explosive impacts. Cutting through military-grade steel required us to invent entirely new plasma cutting techniques to get the tough job done. We also dismantled a fleet of massive cargo ships, each carrying its own unique structural challenges and hidden dangerous surprises. One cargo ship had severe structural damage from a violent ocean storm, making the entire dismantling process incredibly unstable everywhere. We had to strategically support the weakened hull with giant steel beams before we could even begin the cutting process. And who could forget the luxurious ocean liners filled with miles of complex electrical wiring and expensive decorative interior materials? Stripping out the beautiful crystal chandeliers and grand staircases before the heavy demolition started was a strangely emotional experience indeed. Through all these diverse challenges, my trusty yellow excavator has been my constant companion, tearing through steel without any hesitation. We have replaced the hydraulic claws, repaired broken tracks, and pushed the machine to its absolute physical limits every day. The bond between a demolition operator and his machine is forged in the fire of flying sparks and crushing metal. I pat the cold yellow metal of the excavator, silently thanking it for surviving this long and brutal industrial campaign. The sun is beginning to set over the horizon, casting a beautiful warm orange glow across the freshly cleaned beach. The mobile blast furnace is still glowing brightly in the distance, slowly finishing the final batch of recycled liquid steel. Our entire demolition crew gathers on the sand, taking off their hard hats and sharing a well-deserved quiet moment. These brave men and women are the true heroes, risking their lives daily to safely tear down these metal mountains. We share stories, laugh about the hardest days, and watch the ocean waves erase the last heavy tire tracks away. Tomorrow, we will pack up our heavy equipment, load the machines onto transport trucks, and leave this beautiful coastal site. But the memories of the 20 giants we conquered here will stay with us for the rest of our lives. The demolition industry is not for the weak. It requires immense physical strength, sharp mental focus, and deep technical knowledge. You must understand the complex physics of how a massive structure will collapse before you make that first critical cut. One wrong move could send hundreds of tons of sharp steel crashing down in the completely wrong and dangerous direction. But when executed perfectly, demolition becomes a beautiful mechanical ballet of heavy machinery moving with incredible precision and raw power. We are the modern sculptors of steel, working in reverse to deconstruct the greatest engineering marvels of the human world. As the evening tide rolls in, the cool ocean water finally touches the exact spot where the mighty ship rested. The sea has reclaimed its territory, washing away the rust and dust, returning the pristine beach to its natural state. It is a poetic ending to a story that began with a massive iron beast violently beaching itself right here. The millions of tons of steel we recovered will soon begin their new lives in cities all across the world. Perhaps one day I will walk into a building supported by the very steel I cut down on this beach. That is the true magic of recycling. Nothing is ever truly destroyed. It is merely transformed into a new purpose. We have written a powerful story about human strength, determination, and our profound responsibility to clean up our industrial environment. I look at the camera one last time, feeling the cool ocean breeze against my face as the day ends. This incredible 20-part journey has pushed me to my absolute limits, but I would gladly do it all again. Thank you for watching our team work, for supporting our channel, and for appreciating the difficult art of heavy demolition. We have shared the sweat, the danger, and the ultimate triumphs of tearing down the biggest machines on the planet. But do not think for a second that my yellow excavator and I are going into permanent retirement just yet. There are always bigger structures, older ships, and more complex demolition challenges waiting for us somewhere out in the world. I am Demolition Worker, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining this journey. Please stay tuned and wait eagerly for our upcoming brand new adventures of absolute destruction and beautiful industrial rebirth soon. Until next time, keep building and keep breaking. Welcome to the Demolition Worker channel, where metal meets its ultimate master.